Let's get this shit. Turn up, turn up, turn up.
If I had to break it down, the reasons why I stay awake. Number one's the endless cycle of the choices that I fake. Number five's a late night spiral scrolling through my phone. And somewhere in the middle is the fear of being all alone. My calendar's a battle zone, my coffee's gone cold, and my dreams feel like a sweater that's unraveling with holes. It's like a freight train slamming on a rickety track, or a kite in a hurricane that won't come back. I'm stuck, I'm strung out, I'm a little offbeat, but I'm still tapping my feet. Yeah, I'm still tapping my feet. I'm gonna scream until my lungs give out. Live a little louder, make it count. I'll keep pushing till the walls come down. I won't let go, I won't back out. I'm gonna scream until my lungs give out. Live a little louder, make it count. I'll keep pushing till the walls come down. I won't let go, I won't back out. Got a letter from my landlord saying rent's overdue. And the fridge is humming louder than a midnight blues tune. I've been patching all the cracks with the roll of duct tape, but the walls are caving in and I can't escape. Every what if that I whisper goes into a roar. I'm a ship without a captain headed straight for the shore. It's like a parachute pack with a hole in the seams, or a firework fizzling before it gleams. I'm afraid I'm faded, I'm a little off key, but I'm still humming my dream. Yeah, I'm still humming my dreams. I'm gonna scream until my lungs give out. Live a little louder, make it count. I'll keep pushing till the walls come down. I won't let go, I won't back out. I'm gonna scream until my lungs give out. Live a little louder, make it count. I'll keep pushing till the walls come down. I won't let go, I won't back out. Yeah, 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 yeah. Hey, yeah, yeah. There's a spark in the chaos, a light in the haze, a rhythm in the madness of these tangled up days. I don't need perfection, just a second to breathe. A little bit of hope is all I really need. I'm gonna scream until my lungs give out. Live a little louder, make it count. I'll keep pushing till the walls come down. I won't let go, I won't back out. I'm gonna scream until my lungs give out. Live a little louder, make it count. I'll keep pushing till the walls come down. I won't let go, I won't back out. I'm gonna scream until my lungs give out. Live a little louder, make it count. I'll keep pushing till the walls come down. I won't let go, I won't back out.
Oh, brother, oh, brother. Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome back to another episode of the Matt Kohrs Show, where it is a beautiful Monday, August the 24th, and it's also National Peach Pie Day. I think it's also National Waffle Day, but in my own experience, peach pie matters a lot more than waffles do. I know that's a tough thing to say. I know a lot of you in chat are probably waffle fanatics, but I want to be clear. I've said this many times before, but if you happen to be new to the show, or if you simply forgot, French toast is far better than any waffle ever will be. So I get it. I'm not necessarily a waffle hater, but I'm rarely going to order myself waffles because I'm an adult and I understand what good taste is. So if you want to celebrate National Waffle Day, have at it. But let's grow up and actually just celebrate National Peach Pie Day. So happy Monday, August the 24th, the start of the final week of trading in the month of August, but it's also a monster week in terms of individual equity updates. We're hearing from Nvidia, Rumble just had some big news, Alibaba just had some big news, all the way to the largest scale of the trade war with Canada is fully back on. We're about to hit Iran with an economic, quote unquote, economic D-Day starting today. The Jackson Hole Symposium is later on this week. We have a lot of major macroeconomic developments between now and then. So as much as last week was pretty boring and like not much going on, and most of the days were choppy sideways day, my base expectation for this week is the complete opposite. I think we're either going to see a big move in the overall market like Bitcoin, where we're just ripping, or we're going to see an overall move kind of like bond prices where we're just dropping. Obviously, if I definitively knew which direction this would go, I wouldn't be here. I'd be a billionaire. I'd be on some sort of island. But what I can tell you is the structure of the market is set up for a clearly sizable move. So thank you for joining me at the crack of dawn today, Monday the 24th. Stock market is about to be opening in about 23 minutes. So in the next 23 minutes, let me do my job and break down everything you should know, not only for today, but for the remainder of the week. I like to do this on Monday mornings, kind of break it down from more of a taking a step back and looking at a slightly larger picture. So welcome. And with that in mind, here's your snapshot of where we are. SPY, it is red, down about 0.2%, not the worst. The Qs are down a little bit worse, down about 0.6. Like I said, Rumble had some pretty interesting news this morning, getting involved into the world of warrant so they could buy more GPUs, gained 7% on Friday, up an additional 4% in pre-market trading. On the opposite side, Alibaba taking a hit, lost 8.5% last week, down another 1.4%. And then Bitcoin, just because it's ripping, it is holding just below 80,000. It's at 79. So these are just a couple of the stories. I know that there's a lot going on. So like I said, let's just hop right into it. Canada sees long trade war with U.S. that may last beyond midterms. So the deadline was basically over the weekend. We were chit-chatting a little bit about it on Friday. The market seemed to be more so preparing that they would come to some sort of last-minute deal. That did not happen. This is not one of these things that it could happen. We might get into another trade war with Canada. As of this moment, if you are watching this live, we are officially in a trade war with Canada. Canada's Carney puts his no deal is better than a bad deal doctrine to the test. The Prime Minister's approach has broad support from the Canadian public and his political opponents, but it isn't without risk. Obvious, very clearly, economic risk. They ask too much. Canadian dollar slides as Ottawa and Washington head for an all-out trade war, which does not seem to be ending anytime soon, as they're alluding to, probably going past their own midterms. The Canadian dollar fell against a slew of major currencies Monday after the U.S. imposed 50% tariffs on around $20 billion worth of its imports. Not in terms of actual trade, that's not the biggest number. Like 20 billion, still 20 billion. But generally, when you're talking about like global economies, you're in the realm of hundreds of billions, if not trillions of dollars of trade. So 20 billion, yeah, someone's still going to feel it, but this isn't as big as maybe it on just the surface level seems. As a smaller, more open economy, Canada has more to lose from this. Yeah, it's one of those things where we're holding most of the cards. Can it be a pain for us? Yeah, it definitely can be a pain for the U.S. There are some things that we do import that you're not going to want to see the prices go up for. But once again, you're talking about any other economy versus the U.S. economy. Canadian Prime Minister Mr. Carney said Washington had asked too much and he was not prepared to compromise Canada's sovereignty or undermine our key industries. So there's other articles reporting that it was like kind of like finalized details that they couldn't come to an agreement on. It didn't seem to be the overarching thing, but regardless, we are where we are and the market's not liking it. Canada rejected the U.S. tariff deal. Now comes the economic cost. It's going to hit us a little bit in terms of people in the U.S. It's going to hit Canada quite a bit more. A U.S.-Canada trade talks collapse. Carney says retaliatory tariffs will start on September 8th. So here we are on the 24th. Maybe there's some time. Maybe I'm reading a little bit much into the doom and gloom headlines that this isn't going to be resolved. but maybe it could. But September 8th, as it relates to U.S. versus Canada, then trade war, that's going to be the next major date that you have to keep in mind. The U.S. Canada failed to reach a trade deal on Friday to stave off new tariffs by the Trump administration. The tariffs impacted roughly $20 billion worth of Canadian imports, including wine, furniture, dairy products, cement, clothing, fishing rods, and hockey equipment. So if you happen to be an ice hockey player who loves fishing and maybe on the weekend you have a cement pouring job, this might really impact you. For everyone else, maybe not much like at all. Canadian PM said the country would retaliate dollar for dollar with tariffs starting on September 8th. The issue here is we have a lot more of those fake, magical, mystical dollars than they do. So something to consider and pay attention to. Here's the breakdown from Bloomberg. Hang on, let me make sure the volume's good.
To think that they're going to go to war with Donald Trump and actually win that war with the U.S., I think it's foolish on their part. I think you're going to see Mark Carney come to the table very, very quickly because it's going to be devastating for his country.
Let's bring in Bloomberg's John Herskovitz for more now. John, we know that Carney campaigned on a message of fighting back against Trump, but what do we know about why these talks now fell apart?
The drama.
Sure. While the headline dispute was on medium and heavy-duty trucks, there wasn't any one particular thing that caused this to fall apart. It was just mostly, a lot of it is the distrust between the two. The U.S. said that it offered concessions on things like lumber, steel, aluminum, but Canada said the more that it looked into the deal, the more it didn't like what it saw in the details. It saw some restrictions being placed on it when who it could do international trade with. It saw some of the protections it had for French language being eroded by what the U.S. was pushing. So instead of going forward with it, they decided it was time to call it off. So yeah, we have,
That's not bad.
This is just another chapter in this, and no particular thing, but two big economies. The deal is about $20 billion in trade, dollar for dollar matching now, and we'll see how it plays out.
Okay, and who's likely then to break first in this standoff? You've got the US midterm elections coming up, but then we also know, John, how reliant Canada is on exports.
Yeah, no, it's a great question. And the one thing that Prime Minister Carney has going for him is public support. Canada feels that they've been bullied by the U.S. As we've seen, opinion polls show that they want him to stand up, but there are also worries about the Canadian economy. It's so much smaller than the U.S.'s economy, and it's dependent on the U.S. economy. But we've also seen Trump pivot quite quickly when it comes to trade. Canada is standing up. Another country that stood up to the U.S. was China, and it caused the U.S. to back down on some of its maximalist demands. For Carney, he can also see about whether he can bring a few states into play with the trade dispute. Michigan and Ohio are going to be key states for the upcoming midterm elections in November. They have races that could tilt the balance of power in the U.S. Congress, and both have trade ties with Canada. Some of the supply chains for items like trucks are quite integrated with Canada, manufacturing in Ohio as well. So, you know, the overall impact on trade between the two countries, $900 billion a year and $20 billion in this dispute, is not going to be that great. Most Americans won't feel it. Canada is preparing for the long haul, preparing for the pinch, but there is public support for it. So a lot of factors going into it, and don't know who's going to blink first. It's going to be, we'll see how the prediction markets are calling it.
Who's going to blink first? Maybe. I think the chance of the U.S. blinking first only rises if there's some sort of pressure from like kind of the trucking community in terms of automaking. It is really integrated between Canada, the U.S., and Mexico. All three countries are commonly involved in the local automaking. So maybe there's going to be some backlash there, but something to pay attention to. U.S. set to unveil fresh Iran sanctions as rial hits record low. So if you guys are interested in, actually in chat, not that we have many of you here right now, but in chat, if you guys could give me a thumbs up, thumbs down. Treasury Secretary Bessent is scheduled to speak at 2 p.m. Eastern today, talking about the economic D-Day that they're going to be hitting Iran with, and then also maybe a little bit about how the U.S. Plans to be assisting in the long-term Treasuries, the 20 to 30 year. Obviously, we care more about the 10-year, but that is supposed to be the talk today, live at 2 p.m. Do you guys want to do a stream Let me know, like thumbs up, thumbs down on that. Is there interest in paying attention to Basent? 2 p.m. today, Iran economic D-Day, and also what's happening in the bond market here, which as you can tell from the title and as you can see from the charts, it's very much on edge. But I just wanted to ask you, are you playing Fantasy League in Discord? Oh, without a doubt. Actually, I need to update everyone in that today. I think we're going to be doing the draft later this week, but we have a couple leagues going on there. Okay, so Basent, big talk today, but here's what you need to know. U.S. to unveil greatest financial offensive against Iran as Tehran threatens ship seizures. Washington will unveil the single greatest financial offensive ever against Iran on Monday. Tehran has pushed back, threatening to seize vessels that violate transit rules in the Strait. Omanian foreign minister is scheduled to visit Tehran tomorrow, Tuesday, to continue discussions over the arrangement of the Strait. So, big update on that today. There's nothing else really scheduled today. Tomorrow, we do get consumer confidence. We get some inflation, GDP, and durable goods on Wednesday. That's going to be a big one. On Thursday, initial jobless claims. That's also the start of the Jackson Hole Symposium. Fast forward to Friday, where we're going to get consumer sentiment, but really that's when Warsh is going to be speaking at the Jackson Hole Symposium. So it's not on this, but once again, the Jackson Hole Symposium is this week. The highlight of it is going to be Friday morning at 10 a.m. And then today, it's also not shown, but the highlight of today is going to be Basent at 2 p.m. Eastern. Bond market anxiety raises stakes of Warsh debut at Jackson Hole. Once again, it starts Thursday, technically concludes on Saturday, but we're all going to be interested in the 10-minute little chit chat on Friday. This is not like a Q&A type of a thing at all. This is just he gets up, he shares some of his thoughts, and that's it. It's rather quick. So pay attention to that for Friday. Just so you know, I was looking at the, I guess the markets this morning, specifically the betting market here on Kalshi. The Fed decision in September, as of now, there's a 2/3 shot that the Fed rate will be maintained at 3.5%. So before, there was a good chance of a Fed rate hike. Remember, the bond market is under quite a bit of stress right now. But based on some of the recent inflation reports, it sounds as if in the September, there's no meeting in August, but in the September meeting, the Fed rate will probably hold constant. So just something to consider. Of course, it can change. This is dynamic, and you never know what's going to happen today. You never know what's going to happen Friday. There's a lot of moving parts, but just want to give you kind of a real-time update. Breaking, the U.S. Treasury is considering using its $950 billion general account to help fund its increased purchases of long-term government bonds. We might be hearing about this today. We might be hearing about it Friday. We might not be hearing about it at all, but this is a hot news. I know in here, it's not like many of us are slinging bond and yield positions all the time, but it is massively important, massively important. Remember, the bond market is a multitude larger than the equities market. It's a big deal. I know it's not fun. I know it's not sexy. I know it's not a thing that we're slinging, but it's a thing you gotta pay attention to, whether you're a trader, investor, anything like that. It really is important. Once again, the era of bond market intervention officially began on August 19th. This is the top priority for the Trump administration. We'll probably get updates on it today and probably even more on Friday. How Trump's crypto push is linked to Basent's treasury move. So stablecoins could drive demand for treasury bills. So kind of interesting to see how this all could stick together. So you have the S&P 500 ripping all the way up until Thursday, August the 13th, hitting a new all-time high. Since then, taking a little bit of a breather, but overall still bullish. In the meantime, we see Bitcoin launching. I mean, it's basically just ripping from, what's that, 63 all the way up to $80,000. Crypto is back in vogue. Love to see this technical breakout above 83,000, but Bitcoin really, really ripping. And it has all to do with the Clarity Act, which is expected to be passed in roughly mid-September. That's when they're voting on it. And if you run like just back of the napkin math of will it probably pass or not, it probably will, which this is going to basically, there's a lot more going on to it, but what just for the context of what's happening with Bitcoin, it's just more buying from the US government. So remember, there's a finite supply, and when you have more demand, well, demand and supply, the equilibrium point is price. If demand goes up and supply is staying the same, if anything, it's dwindling, what does price have to do? It has to go up, and it's kind of all now coming into a larger play with this Treasury move. Treasury Secretary Mr. Basent, mission to tame the bond market could get help from another Trump administration push, crypto legislation. This would all work together in a synergistic way. Last week, the U.S. Treasury announced larger buybacks of longer-term bonds that can be funded by increasing issuance of shorter-term Treasury bills, or what Basent, speaking on CNBC, called a Treasury twist. In the context, it is notable that Basent has in past talks talked about big potential of new source of demand for Treasury bills, stable coins. So basically, it's just to back it up of like, okay, cool. If treasury bills are needing it, it's just literally a way for it to park money. And that would be the connection of like, okay, all these crypto players, the treasury bills are going to need these stable coins. No, I shouldn't say all, that's hyperbolic, but a lot. Once again, we're just talking about another increase in demand. The connection is under the Genius Act, the crypto regulatory law passed last year. Stable coins issued in the U.S. that aim to stay fixed in the value of the dollar, but can back the promise with certain assets, including treasuries that mature within 93 days. So this might be something to help the bond market. They're talking about the Genius Act. The big thing that we're all looking for in the month of September, about 2 to 3 weeks from now, is the Clarity Act, if you want to do some additional research, but just trying to like, I guess, bring together all the strengths of how this is connected. On an individual equity base, we're pretty much done with earnings season, but the big one that you're going to care about is NVIDIA. And when I say the big one, it is literally the biggest company in the entire world. NVIDIA reporting after the market closes this Wednesday. On top of that, Salesforce, CrowdStrike also on Wednesday. The day before, you might care about Zoom. The day after, Best Buy, Dollar General, Dollar Tree. Thursday after the market closes is kind of interesting. Marvel, Irene, Affirm, Ulta Beauty. So like I said, earnings season is pretty much going to be done after this one, but the big one is the number one company in the world, NVIDIA. Wall Street is counting on NVIDIA to keep the AI party going. NVIDIA's results could send shockwaves through the tech sector and the broader stock market. I don't want to be dramatic, but if NVIDIA doesn't beat, the world's going to end. As much as I try to admit to you guys that I'm not being hyperbolic, once again, if NVIDIA, the game's over. Capitalism is over. Society is over. The 1776 American Dream Project is over. NVIDIA needs to beat. So basically, mark your calendar for Thursday, because if it misses, there's no point in doing anything. We're going to go very quickly into a dystopian hellscape where money doesn't matter, nothing matters. You don't need to have your corporate white-collar job anymore. We're coming back to probably just the main trade being like non-GMO seeds. So mark your calendar for Wednesday, potentially into Thursday. We have some other news. Alibaba plunges after announcing a $10.2 billion share placement to fund AI push. So we're seeing some interesting updates with companies as it relates to CapEx and AI and where they're choosing to and how they're choosing to execute the capital expenditures. So some of them, the market's responding well, and they're like, hey, we love that you're getting into it. And then there's other examples such as Baba here, where the way they're doing it, the market's like, we're not really the biggest fan of how you're using your capital. So this would be one negative example. And if you want to see Baba, here we are, Baba. Let's go to the 30-minute. Baba taking a hit from 130 down to 117. But then on the flip side, still same thing, raising money to get more into the world of AI. Sometimes it's executed very well. Shout out to everyone watching on Rumble. Have you seen Rum's chart? The largest deal in Rum Group's history just announced. So I know this is like the actual fine. This is like the nitty gritty detail. And you know what? I'll go into it. There's going to be a little bit of confusion. On August 23rd, in connection with a commercial agreement entered into between an affiliate of RUM and an unaffiliated US-based third-party cloud customer governing the customer's purchase of access to GPU and GPU services at the company's in Georgia site that is currently under development. The company and the customer entered into a binding agreement. So via warrants. And remember, warrants are kind of similar to options, but the major difference, and there are differences, nuanced differences, but the major difference is when an option is executed, whether a call or a put, new shares are not created. If you have a call or a put, it just represents the transfer of ownership. With warrants, the big difference is if a warrant is executed, it does increase the float. There are new shares, but obviously, okay, with that, it comes down to like, well, what's the deal? And the deal is right here. The company purchases up to an aggregate of about 51 million shares of Class A common stock. And in return for that, they're obviously getting a lot of capital right now. The question is, what is that capital going to be used for? And does the market perceive that to be a good use? Under the commercial agreement, subject to the terms and conditions thereof, the customer has agreed to purchase GPU services at the Georgia site in 3 tranches representing a total order of approximately $13.7 billion spread evenly across 3 tranches, provided that with respect, blah, blah, blah. Like this is where you get into all the legalese talking. It is important. I'm not saying that it's not important, but that's a big deal. They're basically doing warrants, about 51 million shares represent the warrants, raising that money to represent about almost a $14 billion deal. Why isn't it dropping? Because this is a really good deal. I'm like literally in real time representing the difference between the way Alibaba is executing it, the market not liking it, and the way Rumble's executing it and the market really, really liking it. So even though they're both like kind of moving around a couple shells for CapEx in the world of AI, this is the difference between one that's well executed, i.e. Rumble, and one that is not well executed, i.e. Baba. So the market clearly liking this. The commercial agreement has a term of 6 years. That's another big difference between warrants and options. Generally, the time frame for warrants is far longer. The warrant shares under the warrant vest in tranches tied to the customer's purchase under the commercial agreement and any expansion agreement. The initial 50% of warrant shares vest in 3 tranches of 16.67% each upon the customer's purchase of 3 respective tranches described above. So basically, these warrants or the shares only come into existence if the other aspects of the deal are going to be executed upon. So basically, it's saying that there's really not much risk, and you're seeing this being reflected in the stock price right now. I'm not saying this is 100% accurate, but maybe the best way to think of it, and you can see Rumble stock is just climbing and climbing and climbing. Absolutely love it. Would love it to get above and hold above 10. I would argue the best way to really think about this is shares in terms of the Class A stock are only going to go up if all these other major milestones are hit for the company. And really, it's just a huge GPU deal, like a massive GPU deal. So that's why the market is responding very, very positively to the SPX, or excuse me, to the RUM deal, while Baba not so much. So just wanted to kind of clarify that's some breaking news on those 2 equities as of today. Like I said, I've said this months ago that I believe Rumble is still one of the most undervalued AI infrastructure plays, and it's nice to see that the market is obviously starting to finally agree with me. If you haven't already, sign up for the newsletter. It is absolutely free. It's always been free, always will be free. Comes to your email inbox every single Sunday. Why should you sign up? Well, first of all, there's no risk because it's absolutely free, but here's what you get in return for no risk. A breakdown of what's going on in the market, cheat sheet for earnings. I give you the graphic, kind of tell you, I highlight the ones that I think you're going to care most about. And then I give you all the major macroeconomic events. Remember today, Besant, the Treasury Secretary, will be speaking at 2 p.m. Eastern. And then with respect to seasonality, over the past 27 years worth of information, this day is historically kind of neutral. It was bullish for a little bit. It was flat for a bit. Recently, it was a little bit more bearish, but then the last 2 years, it really popped. So overall, this is a day where I just don't really take into account seasonality. So I wanted you guys to know that. And before the market gets going, crazy story for you. Move aside, Nancy Pelosi, because there is a new overlord of politicians in Wall Street. No longer Nancy Pelosi. It is, in fact, the commander-in-chief, Mr. Donald J. Trump. This story is crazy. Trump stock disclosure shows more than 1,000 trades in the month of June. Folks, there's 20 trading days in a calendar month. This guy, well, the people he hired, traded more than 50 times per day. Let that sit in. Like, really let that sink in. More than 50 trades per day, and it gets crazier. Trump reported a staggering 1,051 trades in his June financial disclosure. Here are 2 of the more curious ones, which 2, there's a lot more than just 2, but just to try to highlight the craziness of it. On June 18th, he bought up to $500,000 in Boeing the same day. The exact same day, the Navy awarded Boeing an $880 million contract. Then, fast forward to June 23rd, up to $50,000 in SpaceX. And guess what? The same day, the exact same day, NASA recorded almost $500,000 award to SpaceX. Once again, this is just 2 of many, many examples of, once again, politicians not necessarily doing what we elected them to do. I'm not going to comment for you, but I don't think many people were sitting there saying, yeah, I want to put this person in office because I want them to line their own pockets. I think that's generally not why we vote for people. Maybe that's why you voted for someone, but I just don't think that's general. And it's sad. I want to be clear. This isn't just a left thing. This isn't just a right thing. They do it at all levels of government, left, right, in the middle. It's just time and time again, us, the public, or the constituents, put people into a position of power, and before you knew it, They just abuse the power time and time again. It's sad to see. I don't think it's going to be changing anytime soon, but I have a feeling when we finally get the July trades, it's probably going to be even worse. Even worse. So just wanted to cover that. All right, let's get the charts rocking. Let's get the charts rocking. I want to put rum up to see how that's doing. Bitcoin's looking good. Okay, we're out of the gate cracking the low from Friday. That's not the best sign. So the fact that we've already taken out the low from the previous trading session, if I show you the SPY here on the daily chart, the fact that we already took out the low, that means that with about 78% chance, we're going to close today below 765, or really we'll call it 766. But the fact that we took out the low on both SPY and QQQ, remember, just looking at conditional probabilities, the odds of us closing today below the previous day's close. So on SPY, that's 76572, and on QQQ, that is 71344. There's about a 78% chance that that's where we're close. Now, is that a guarantee? No, I'm giving you the odds. I'm telling you about roughly a 4 and 5 shot. So just want you guys to understand the actual odds of it. By no means is anything ever guaranteed. There's no such thing as a 100% chance in the world of trading. That's just simply not how trading works, but this is where we are. How is Trump exempt from not being able to trade? He's not exempt. Technically, they're all supposed to be following the Stock Act is the major act that people cite. But it's one of these things that it's not just Trump. I want to be very clear. And technically, the executive branch should not be trading. But they all do it. Congress, I mean, the House does it. The Senate does it. Clearly, the president does it. It's just really, really sad, in my opinion, that so many of our elected officials who all take an oath to serve us to the best of their ability are all just seemingly, they might do some good things, but that also, we're seeing this really, I guess, sad pattern of people choosing to use their position to line their own pockets. It's not good. Stop ignoring the narrator. My bad.
Dingity ding ding ding. The world's largest casino is now open. Best of luck at all. Best of luck to all. Play responsibly. If not, make a shitload of money.
Fake news. Our dear leader never traded stocks. Blind trust. That's not exactly how it works, but sure. Believe what you want. Believe what you want without research. If you think that, I mean, if you believe that, I don't know. I have a bridge to sell you. Like, you have to be, Lenny, come on, grow up. If you think that somehow when the government was awarding contracts to various companies and they were doing it perfectly the day of, and somehow they didn't have anything to do with it, like I said, and like beyond that, like, why are they trading anyway? I deeply believe that one of the easiest solutions is, if you're going to trade, it should be announced beforehand. And then if we don't want anyone trading, you should just force them to park it in the S&P 500, and that's it. Dude, they're going to say blind trust. I know that's what they're going to say, because we've heard that time and time before with so many different members of Congress. And that's what it's going to be said here. And it's hard, because we're getting at to the point where you have to kind of like be like, well, I don't know. Is anyone else just getting tired of the fact that we're always just perpetually being forced to pick between the lesser of two evils? That's, I guess, what I hate about the current state of American politics is, like, we have 350 million people in this country. We do. And you're telling me that to fill out all of just our political openings, our political leadership, we can't find people who are better than this? Like, Trump likely wasn't personally sitting at a computer trading, but he's got people managing his money that knows what's going on. Yeah, of course he wasn't personally trading. I'm not arguing that, and I don't think anyone is arguing that. My point is clearly the people who he has trading for him have information available to them that is not available to the rest of the world, and he's using it for his own personal game. These people would storm a Capitol because Hunter Biden made $50K selling paintings to a Ukrainian, but would turn it down, and the president and his family make billions. My issue, so this is kind of one thing I don't like, is people whoever you voted for, let's say you're a hardcore Trumper, you're like, the first knee-jerk instinct is to say that it's okay because a previous administration did something that you're trying to paint the picture is worse. My argument is, why can't we just all admit it's bad? Why can't we admit that Trump's trust trading 1,000 times in the month of June is a bad look? Why can't we all admit that Hunter being on Burisma's board is a bad look? Like, why can't we just apply like a little bit of thought here to the whole situation and just all agree that it's bad? Like, that's all right. Like, we don't have to stoop to this immature level and try to defend it. The person you voted for, you do not need to defend them for everything. You can say, yes, I voted for that person, but that doesn't mean you necessarily agree with them. Be like, hey, I voted for them, whoever this person is, because of reason XYZ. And like, that doesn't mean you agreed with the other stuff. That's fine. You can be like, yeah, no, I voted for him because of border policy and I'm not really happy with the trading, but it was just better. Like, that's what I voted on. Like, it's okay. You don't have to defend the person that you voted for on every single subject matter. And the person you didn't vote for, you can still agree that maybe they did something right. That's completely allowed. They both don't compare. It does compare. I think there's a moral aspect to it, and it's not just Trump. It's not just Biden. It's so many politicians. Elizabeth Warren is trading all of the time. Dan Crenshaw trading all the time. Like, the list just goes on and on and on and on of all these people. I mean, Tommy Tuberville, he's on the ag committee and he's day trading corn futures. Like, we can just all grow up and admit it's not good. That maybe you voted for him and your argument is, hey, man, lesser than two evils, and maybe you voted for a different one, but like to try to defend it's not a good look at all. It is really not a good look. Ro Khanna, I think Ro actually has a record for trading the most, at least maybe in the year 2025, but like it happens all the time. The House and Senate are the legislative branch, not executive. Yes, we all took 5th grade social studies. We're all, well, I hope we're all well aware of that. I voted Trump, but really dislike how Trump handled the tariffs on and off again, and this 1,000 trades in June. And well, just so you know, it's not going to stop there. But yet you could still be an adult and say, I voted for him, and maybe it didn't go as well as you wanted to, but you could still think that it was the better vote. It wasn't like we had an infinite amount of options. Your vote was either Trump or Harris. So you could be sitting there and fairly say, okay, this isn't exactly what I wanted, but still hold this thought that, okay, like it was still a better vote. That's fine. That like can be a logical thought process. Just because you don't like how things are going, or maybe you love how things are going, it doesn't necessarily like prove the inverse. And I don't think that type of discussion is like commonly had. People act like Democrats and Republicans are football teams and you have to cheer for them no matter what. Exactly. And I hate that. I think we should all be a little bit more informed and a little bit more like mature and go through all the major things and be like, okay, this is good and you agree with it. This is bad. You don't agree with it. And you're just trying to see how it all nets out. But especially because of mainstream media and social media, they just want to do these large tribalistic buckets, at least in my opinion, and be like, okay, no, you're either fully for this team or you're fully for this team. And you have to either fully support or fully despise, which is crazy. Like, there is no adult paying attention that's going to fully agree or fully disagree with one party. Both parties have come up with good ideas and good concepts. Both parties have done really sketchy shit. That is life. If you're running for federal office, you and your entire family should be entirely removed from the stock market. There should be more repercussions for entering politics, assets only to basic 401ks. So I don't necessarily agree with that, because if you want to run for politician, I don't necessarily, like, if you want to be a politician, I don't think it should have like such a harsh impact on the other people in your family. Like, what if you're running for president and your dad's the president, but you just happen to work on Wall Street? Or what if you're a senator and you get married? What, does your spouse now have to sell everything? So I don't think this is a perfect solution, but I've thought a lot about this, and I feel like the best solution is, if it is you or your immediate family, just all trades should be filed before the trade is executed. So for example, if you are any member of Congress or the executive branch or anything like that, and you or a spouse or a child is about to buy NVIDIA or something like that, and you want to do it, well, you would have to file today. It has to be publicly available today, and then the trade is executed tomorrow. And then I would also use the 3-strike system, that if rules are broken 3 times, like literally donezo, and I would be so extreme on that, they're actually barred from engaging in the stock market forever, for the remainder of their life. I would have increasing fines, big fine, huge fine on the 3rd time, and then also on the 3rd time, I would ban them from the stock market completely. And I think it just needs more transparency. This is like a little bit of a hot take. I'm not so against them trading, just because I do believe that Wall Street and the stock market is the best vehicle for capital growth. I do believe that. And I think everyone should be engaged in it, at least minimum from an investing perspective, of course. But when it comes to our politicians and what they know and what they don't know, I just want more transparency. I just want there to be, like, the filing needs to be out and public the day before the trade executes. The way it works right now, maybe for those of you who don't know, it's filed that they did a trade and they have up to 45 days to do it. So someone could trade now at the end of August, and then it's still all above board for us to not even find out until October. So my solution is basic. You have to file a transparent, like, basically I'm just trying to increase transparency as much as I possibly can. So a publicly available file needs to be filed the day before the trade. And if it's filed, the trade has to execute the next day. You're not allowed to back out of it. And if you want to get out of it, same thing. You have to publicly file where we could all look into it. And then also I'd be really, really harsh with the 3-strike one. You can't really expect politicians to please politicians. Well, that's the issue, is if you look at the guy on the House Ethics Committee, which is like part of their task is to deal with this, he literally just got in trouble himself for violating the Stock Act. And he's like literally on the House Ethics Committee. But a bigger issue than the House Ethics Committee is the real police in this situation would be the SEC. But then look at where the SEC gets their money. The SEC, their budget comes from Congress. So do we really, really expect them to bite the hand that feeds them? Do we really expect the SEC to look into politicians when it's the politicians who either approve or deny their budget for their job? It's such like a backwards, contorted bullshit thing that I honestly feel like my solution, though not perfect, I don't think there is a perfect solution. I think it's really simplistic, and I think it's something that like more of them could take advantage of. Here's a bull market. I say the market will hit 55 before midterms. What market will hit 55? You're asking for way too much, Matt. They don't care about peons like us. Nothing will change. Well, and I think honestly right now for Trump's approval rating is dropping. And I think that's the general vibe, is people thought there was going to be a difference. I think they viewed him as a politician outside the world of politics. And they're like, oh, okay, maybe for once we're going to get change because he's not the classic career politician. And I think a lot of it is just between Iran, the tariffs, the Epstein stuff. People are like, oh, it turns out we just got another politician. So I guess I get the sentiment of like, hey, I just tried to vote because I tried for something different. If that's how you chose to cast it, I get that mindset. You're like, hey, I didn't like the way things were trending, and I was just pitched that maybe this is a different idea. And like, I get it. I get that completely. And then I also get the rising amount of discontent of just saying, okay, like we tried and we just got the same thing again. So I get how you could just be a bit upset about that for sure. We need a better class of losers in office. What if our system was just randomly selecting? Like, what if it was just this giant lottery of people like of appropriate age? So like, one day you might have some like nerdy librarian as your senator, and then the next cycle there's just a random lottery and you have like a gangbanger from Chicago. I think that would at least give us more interesting things to pay attention to. Massey Lossie was the only one standing up for Americans. I see that he's become a pretty divisive character. He's always been corrupt. We all know growing up. I don't know why everyone decided to pretend differently when he ran for president. It was his reputation for literally decades. I think it's because he was the most charismatic by far. I think that had a lot to do with his election. He's just far more charismatic than your average politician and extremely more charismatic than Kamala Harris. I would honestly say the anger at Donald Trump is misplaced for both elections, it wasn't that hard to beat. And yet the Democrats put potentially like the worst candidates ever. You ran him against Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, and Kamala Harris. Like, really? Like, they could have picked pick the most average just Democrat in Congress, and they would have had a better shot. Like, it was the Democrats, it was theirs to lose, and they actively lost it. Like, they actively lost it. So the anger at that, I think the anger is misdirected. I really do. I think you can't be angry at people voting for him when just look at what the other options were. It was, like I said, you're between a rock and a hard spot. It was just horrible. Like, LOL, victim blaming, I suppose. Rum always has good news when the market is red. That's just the perfect way to inverse it. Maybe you found out the best trading strategy ever. Oh, speaking of trading strategies, I was good. I have not traded yet today. And on top of that, we're trading with quite a few funded accounts. So we're trading on all funded Lucid. We're trading on all funded Take Profit. We're trading on all funded Tradeify, 5, 10, 15 funded accounts. And then we're almost about to be funded with MFF as long as I can make $404 today. So we're about to be fully funded across the board, 5, 10, 15, 20. So we're at 15 of 20 right now. And speaking of that, I actually have a little bit of news for you guys, some big news for you guys. We are officially a partner with MFF. Those are the exact ones that I am trying to pass today. So I'm trading funded with them. MFF, kind of cool. End of day drawdown is funded. So instead of the intraday drawdown, it is now end of day. I'm a big fan of that. Daily payouts with a 90-10 split. The one thing here, as we're comparing it, if you're using this, the consistency rule is 30%. You're probably watching this. A lot of you are probably used to 40 or 50. So the consistency rate, I guess, is lower. So you have to take it more slowly to pass. But as soon as you do pass, once again, 30% consistency, it's nice. End of day drawdown, daily payouts, 90-10 split. And when you apply the code Goonie, you're going to realize that the price is as competitive as any of these other firms. So check that out. My funded futures, we are, as of, I guess, technically Friday, but I was waiting today to announce it with you guys. You can use that code Goonie on it. It's pinned to the top of chat. It's in the description of the video. If you're already on MFF and you want to support the crew, the channel, me, Piper, use that code Goonie. And just so you guys know, if there is enough community interest in MFF this week, they will be the, I guess, just the sponsor. And we're going to, if we can get enough of these signups, they're going to give us free codes to give away even more free accounts once again at the end of this week. So just wanted to call that out to everyone. Shout out to MFF, new partnership, code Goonie. Like I said, end of day drawdown, daily payouts, 90-10 split. If you're wondering what the catch is, if there is a catch, I would say just that the consistency rule is lower. So it takes a bit longer. At minimum, you have to trade for 4 days, which I don't really count it as that bad, just to be very clear. So just want to let you know what's going on with MFF and the new partnership. All right, what do we have thus far today? Here's a look at, let me get this. We haven't gone over the key levels. I know the market's dipping right now, but honestly, the map, the gamma map, I get really, really interested in 7,700 and 7,710. I know that's a bit of a tough call out, but I'm seeing a lot of positive gamma beneath. I'm seeing some negative gamma below, or excuse me, above. Positive gamma below, negative gamma above. You have support below, and you have a magnet above. So any dip, like right now, you could just see that we're going to have market makers stepping in as a natural buyer. And then if we start to pop, we have a magnet up to 7,700, key technical level, key psychological, key gamma level. But then the biggest negative gamma node of the day, or at least was at open, was 7,710. So as much as maybe the market is dipping right now, or at least it was up until about 9:45, I would actually very much argue that the options market is a bit more supportive for the bull case today than it is for the bear case. On that note, I do need to let you know that craziness could easily ensue this weekend, or this afternoon, technically 2 p.m., because that is when Besant is doing his live press conference talking about the largest economic D-Day ever. And I guess we're hitting Iran with some economic sanctions. So I want to call that out to everyone. And then this week in general, we have NVIDIA reporting earnings after the market closes on Wednesday. And then we have Kevin Warsh, the current Fed chair, on Friday morning at the Jackson Hole Symposium. And as that is all happening. We have craziness in the world of Bitcoin, obviously exploding from 63 all the way up to 79. You have bonds, which are very much not looking good. They're kind of getting a little bit of a breather, like a tiny bit of a breather. They're maybe just anticipating that the speech today goes well. So the bond market's under quite a bit of stress. We could look at USD, JPY. That's curling back up. Unfortunately, that's not the way you want it to go. Or you could look at JPY, USD. That was at a 4-decade low, popped, pulled back, looked like we have a higher low. There was a big pop on Wednesday of last week, but now it's retreating. Coming down is not the direction you want to see that going. And that's all happening as we are now in a full-fledged trade war with Canada. Now, you might be arguing, okay, like how important is the trade war? Isn't the trade war? Okay, that's fair. But I'm just letting you know that we're, as much as last week was extraordinarily boring and not much was going on, this week seems it's already shaping up to be the polar opposite. I'm getting a note from you guys that Trump just put out something on Truth Social 12 minutes ago. Canada has been ripping off the U.S. for years. Their ridiculously high tariffs on our farmers and farm products have made life impossible for these great American patriots and has long created a $60 billion deficit between our two countries. Not sustainable and not anymore. On January 1st, 2027, tariffs on all cars, trucks, both large and small, automotive parts, and steel will increase to 50%. Build in the U.S. and there are zero tariffs. Canada will be treated like a state, no longer on trade in any other way. Also, they are among the worst nations in the world to deal with. They feel entitled, and yet we don't need Canada. They need us. They do 95% of their business with the U.S. and with us, the exact opposite. Thank you for your attention on this matter, President Donald J. Trump. So that came out just after market open, and maybe that's why the market is under a little bit more pressure, I guess. I mean, I don't think this is news to any of us, but it seems like this trade war is not like a blip on the radar. This feels like it's going to be going. So lumber prices are about to spike. Lumber, I mean, we went over the whole list. Cement, like there was a whole thing. And it seems the industry that might be most immediately impacted is probably going to be the car making industry, auto making. But from there, who knows what the far reaching implications are going to be. But you can see some of these automakers already taking a healthy hit this morning. Healthy hit this morning. MAGA hate Canada. Maybe. Who knows? Hate's such a strong word these days, you know? All right. Are we missing any other breaking news? I'm really trying to do my best to not trade yet. I want to see where some support and resistance are. Specifically, you can see that we already just ran into resistance here. Yeah. A little bit of support, try to pop up. It failed. We broke down. And now we just got in this region rejected. If it can recover, interesting. Maybe it can give us the red to green test. Looking at the NASDAQ, arguably probably even a worse setup right now. A worse setup. Maybe we can double bottom here. Where are we on NQ? We're not even at 29.5 anymore. We're actually snapped 29,000 like it was nothing. Snapped it like it was nothing. So if you took that, you had to do it in minute 2, this shot at the overnight low. There were some good points in it. You're long at 116.75, and it appears to have at least recovered to 154. So there was a nice 40 pounds there. And obviously the fact that we kind of snapped this low, you no longer want to like really be involved in it. But maybe we're getting a little bit of a double bottom type of a situation here. Let me bring this over so we can see. Let me switch this up above my head. You have bookmap there. And then also we have a different look at order flow. Both of these are just 2 different ways to depict order flow. I just want to see where some of these buyers and sellers really are. So aggressive selling that got trapped at 951, and we're already back above 29,000. Once again, this is the 1 minute for NQ. I'm wondering, is this a double bottom setup? Is it the old double bottom setup? How's flow looking? Flow is actually picking up, interestingly enough. Interestingly enough. I mean, that was quite the vomit. Oh, brother. Oh, brother. Oh, brother. Oh, mother. Oh, mother. Oh, brother. Is this double bottom worth it? Is the double bottom worth it? We're right at a key level on SPX 650, potentially a higher low. Probably not the best look if it snaps. What the fuck? This is the one I want. Okay, so this, I'm kind of looking here. What's this recent high? 30, maybe a 30 breakout and then retest. I don't necessarily want to chase this because it is the game of catching a falling knife. If you try to catch the falling knife at 980, I don't mind that so much because you could already go to break even. Or if you intentionally went in at 53, that was dangerous. It paid off, but now you have a nice fill at 53 if you intentionally bought at that previous low. It swept you a little bit, not by much. You had to only sweat out 6 points. But I'm curious because I know things from a momentum perspective. Obviously, 1 minute bearish, 5 minute bearish, 10 minute bearish, 30 minute bearish. That's pretty bearish right here. 1 minute bearish, 5 minute bearish, 10 minute bearish, 30. I get that it's all bearish, but what's interesting is the options flow is telling a completely different story. Just before 9:45, there was a hero alert, and since then, options have been popping. So I wonder if we're just putting in a double bottom reversal. On that note, the Mag 7 is getting hit, but the Nasdaq is picking up. So price momentum and options momentum are telling two very different stories right about now. And I'm curious if the SPY can get back. Rum's having a good day on their news. Oh, what else is up? Rum's up. Netflix is a little green. I'm just wondering if the Qs can actually get this breakout. It's the tech sector that's kind of dragging this down. Trade with Canada, when it comes to natural gas, means states like New York can no longer block pipelines from Penn to New England because of environmental concerns. Now that's a national emergency. I'm not quite informed on that. Doesn't that giant gap fill around 701 on QQQ? It's a gap fill. That doesn't mean it's going to get filled today, though. Count Joe Money, 10 a.m. reversal. Maybe. It wouldn't be the craziest thing, a double bottom reversal on the Qs, a shoulder head shoulder. Like I said, we see appetite in the options market. SPX is picking up, NDX is picking up. But just to be fair, to give you all the information, Mag 7 is still getting hit. So the question really is what in the world is happening here? Is it going to get going, or is it a double bottom, or is it a double top? Because basically we sold off flat, consolidation, broke down. Now we have another period of consolidation. So the question is, which way does it actually go? That's the real question here. Oops, did not want to do that. Let's draw this out. Let's see our regions. Remember, we can keep it relatively simple by just playing support and resistance. We don't need to over-engineer it. We don't need to take every single trade, every single move. If that is your goal, good luck, but you're probably never going to actually be able to achieve that. If you think you're going to take every single move, I don't want to be the mayor of Negative News Central, but okay. Remember, for me, I mean, in this environment, I'm not chasing this breakout. Why am I not chasing it? Because the 1 minute, 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute are all bearish. 1 minute maybe breaking, 5, 10, 30. So sometimes with smaller size, I'll be a bit more aggressive, and then I could always get in more, or if I'm wrong, I could cut it. But I would want more things to align. This, to me, it could happen. You know, like, as you guys are properly calling out, it could be the 10 a.m. reversal. I'm just not the most, I don't know, confident in that because I just don't have the data yet. And also, I'm not going to go in here when, like, the risk is just large. It's 80 points. So it's just the setup isn't quite there for me. Now, if we somehow pop, come back down, put in a higher low, and we start to bounce off of this, that's a different story. But right now, this is right. You guys are getting a real-time lesson of why I don't chase breakouts, because look at this. It broke 31, went up to 37, and right now it's battling it out. Like, I just chasing I can't sit here and be completely intellectually honest and say it always goes poorly, but it does go poorly a lot of the time. 7,700 too cheap to pass up. I do really like that 7,700. If the structure can improve a little bit, it's a giant negative gamma node. To be fair, there are some nodes beneath. It looks as if there's some weird, is that a condor maybe? There's a put credit spread down here at 7,600, but I see what you're seeing, or I don't know if that's what you're looking at or not, but I don't think that's the craziest play. I really don't. But let's see. One touch, two touch. Is it going to get going? It can get going for sure. And the most recent example of that would be Friday. Let me show you what happened on Friday. We sold off in the morning. This is literally running it back of how trends can switch midday. Actually, these days look stupidly similar. We sold off, consolidate, puke, pop up, puke again, pop up, lower high, but then all of a sudden it started to switch as we got closer to the 11 a.m. hour, and it started to actually switch trend. So it was bearish, fake out breakdown, still weak, still reason to be bearish, but it pops anyway. And then fast forward to today, where I'm not promising you this is how it's going, but look at a puke, consolidation, pukes even more, and then it's kind of like, maybe it's going to get going, but just because we recently saw it, I want to be clear, does not mean it has to repeat today. But if you are making the miscalculation that situations like this, well, I don't mind that. Have to keep selling, they don't have to. In fact, I'm seeing a bunch of these wicks right here. Mag 7 is even picking up. Nasdaq is picking up. Look at that. And it's 10:02. Is it the classic 10 a.m. reversal? I don't know. Thumbs up in chat if you think this is the 10 a.m. bullish reversal. Thumbs down if you think the bearishness is going to continue. I want to kind of quickly gauge where you guys are at, because maybe I'm misreading it. Maybe I have a case of the Mondays. Do you think this? Thumbs up if you think it's a bullish reversal. Thumbs down if you think it's a bearish continuation. Where are we at? Brian is looking thumbs up. Brian is voting thumbs up. Joseph, there's a lot of sugar maple here. Standing red, you're still bearish. Okay, a little bit of a mixed bag, folks. I mean, we're just not really quite sure yet. I mean, it's fun to watch Rumble. Oop, something just happened. 10:03, something just happened. Someone dumped some side. You can see it on the book map right above my head. Someone just destroyed the bid selling. They dropped it from 29,012 to 29. So that was about 25-ish points. Was that another update, or is that just someone trading size today? No, it was not another update. Let me just double check. I don't want to, there might be breaking news, but hang on. German, no, that was 2 minutes ago. If there is news, I'm not seeing it hit the tape yet. But that got smashed right there at 10:02. Don't mind that short. If you went short at 29,000 on this breakdown of the 10:01 bar and then threw your risk right up to the top, your risk is 40 points. You got to size it accordingly where you can realistically risk 40 points. But you can see now we're just knocked back into consolidation. So we found support, we found resistance, we found that same support, we found that resistance. So we're just going sideways. On that, SPX almost tested the previous low, 7,660, almost got the 1 minute breakout. Nope. Looks like there's buyers above my head at 956. I've not taken any trades yet today, just trying to get a better understanding of, are we getting that V-shaped 10 a.m. reversal, which seemed to be maybe a compelling argument as of 9:58, 9:59, a little double bottom situation. Someone hit the tape with size at 10:02, and now we went from resistance back down to support. So now the next question is are we going to bounce off of 54? Coming back to options flow, the SPY is still looking good. I know this is crazy, but the SPY, this is honestly why I probably haven't traded yet today. If the SPY was diving, I would have taken that rejection, but it's not. Options flow is telling us a different story, so we just have to wait, or I would say should wait until maybe more of this aligns. What are we doing here? Patience, patience, patience. Patience, patience, patience. Do I just want to start in a feeder position? Like just a little. Oh, by the way, if you want to trade with me, GoonieTrading.com. If you have any questions, the contact page, but GoonieTrading.com. Let's zoom in on this. Trying to piece together what we can on the day. Trying to piece together what we realistically can. What we realistically can here. NASDAQ, it took a hit right there. Once again, you could see exactly when someone hit the tape or a group or whatever it was. Rejected at 29,000. Triple bottom? I don't know. I mean, as long as it holds 29,050, you have to wonder, is the floor put in on the day? You have to wonder. Triple bottom? It could be our first high or low. I mean, it's a little degen, but NASDAQ is picking up. Mag 7 picked up for a second and then continued to get hit. The S&P 500 is climbing up. It was a little bit of call buying. It's a little bit of put selling. It's both. It's not being dominated by one or the other. Oh. Do I actually like this play? It failed to push. But maybe it did. What time is it? It's 10:07. So the 30-minute Orbo is locked in. We have about 23 minutes to go until IB is locked in. It is equal highs and undetermined with lows currently. Can we get any information here? Not really. Not really. Sold someone at 10:02. The interesting trade of the day was someone with size at 10:02 kind of splashed the pot there. And as much as it, oh, someone just came in. You saw that in real time. Someone, big resting order, a big resting buy order. Could have been short to get out. Could be creating a new long position, but we just know it was an aggressive buy. Buying to open, buying to close. You'd have to look at the cumulative delta for that answer. But it's trying to fight there. Not that far away from the intraday low. Price momentum is clearly bearish. Options momentum is clearly confused. Which way? And overall, if you're just doing basic technicals, we're just stuck. We sold flat, sold again, some price discovery, flat, 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 flat. Like we're just waiting in a pretty sizable range, 950 to 930. It's like this 80-point range. That is not making life easy. You could even see the book map above that. Just, I don't know, some crazy trades are thus far hitting the tape. Thus far hitting the tape. Oh, what do we have going on here? Is it actually going to press and crack, or is it just going to be a third test and we bounce? We got to wait. I have no unique prediction on it. We're going to wait. Does it snap? The snap retest failure could be an interesting short. I'm not going to chase it because why? Well, if you chased at 953, you got screwed. Right here, we barely made a new low and it popped in anyway. This is why you don't chase. And then a couple minutes later at 958, we broke out. Guess what? That's why you don't chase. Chasing, like, you're looking at real-time examples. 958 is proof of why you don't chase to the upside, and 953 is like proof of why you don't chase to the downside. If you choose to chase, you have to go for small targets. To try to chase and be like, no, this is the start of an entirely new trend, that's when you want to wait for the retest. If you're chasing those little micro breakouts and breakdowns, you want to go for 4, 8, 12, 10. Like, I mean, even 20 ticks is a bit of a reach. You want to go for small little targets, and that kind of forces you to have to play with a little bit of a bigger size. And are you comfortable with that? Are you not? But this right here, you see at 953, if you went short, it might work out, but you had to go through a lot of drawdown. If you took this long, it might work out, but right now you're going through quite a bit of like a large amount of drawdown. Like, if you're choosing to play the breaks, my personal opinion for you to be successful, which first of all, I don't like it, but if you're like, no, that's just like what I want to do, is a small profit target. Just like 1, 2, 3 points, get in, get out, move on with your life. And pray that you don't find the bad beat. SPY, fake out, breakout, by definition, that's bearish, and it's now finding a new region of support. We might be able to redraw this a little bit. Bitcoin's nicely climbing, so is RUM. Qs might actually be breaking down here. All I'm saying is that it's like testing. 1, 2. We're coming up for our third distinct test. Remember, if you're just trying to break it, if you're just playing that, I mean, I don't like it at all, but if that's your play, small profit targets, because you never know when there could be a 50 to 30, an 80-point bounce out of nowhere. What type of coffee you're drinking? Starbucks iced coffee today. I don't know if this is true, but I read a while ago that Starbucks has the most caffeine, and I said that's what I need in my life. Bitcoin's really climbing. RUM's climbing. Yeah, the Nasdaq is really pressing this now. There are buyers above. You can see above my head at 50. You can see the book map, heat map is lighting up at 50 there. How's the delta profile looking? It's thin down here. It is very thin. Not much going on with the delta profile. I assume this is going to change. Here, let me rebuild. I wanted to see the volume profile. The value area low is at 58. Is this going to be a triple bottom? Right off the bottom there. S&P 500 pop, now going flat. Mag 7 just down. Nasdaq choppy. Maybe it's going for a triple bottom. What is this? 53. We'll see. We caffeine users are low-level druggies. I can't disagree. Anything to get you going in the morning. Fun fact about Starbucks, they have created a system purposely to avoid paying taxes. Look it up. Very interesting. It's called good business.
Order filled.
All right. We're going to see if people are caught on the short side here. We're going to see. I took a long, and I know I'm fighting price momentum. I'm just trying to buy at support. Maybe the support holds, maybe it doesn't, but I don't think it takes a big brain analysis to say go long at support, go short at resistance. So maybe the support breaks. That's possible. And then I'm wrong. And then I'm forced out of the position. I had to front run it a little bit early before confirmation because the 29,000 level was right there. And I did not want to have a fill above it because it might turn into a like key psychological support. So I got my fill just below at 890. So basically I wanted to be in to see if it can actually snap 29,000. I went half size. Like you could see the numbers are not moving that crazy just because I get that it's not an A+ setup. I think it's good enough. I would say it's like a B level setup. Hey, Matt, do you still hold AMC? No, I haven't held that in many years. In fact, I wish I was short AMC. I have no AMC position, but no, I actively wish I was betting against it. All right, at a certain point, I'm just going to move it to break even and make it a freebie play. At a certain point, when do I want to make it a freebie play, though? I guess on the test of 20. If it can test 29,020, I'll make it a freebie play. We'll see. What did we just get up to? We got up to 10. All right, this is the bet. I don't know if it's holding 29,000 or not. I'm looking at a potential technical triple bottom. I'm seeing maybe some trapped sellers. And then on top of that, I see that the options flow is much better than price action. So we'll see. Maybe I'm right. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm carrying a half size position. I'm not carrying that much risk. And the goal is basically just go long and support and see if it actually acts as support. Getting smacked at the 1 minute 10 EMA pretty hard, but we'll see. I'm looking at this sell-off bar here. I keep coming back to this 1002 bar. If it can recapture that full bar, I'll feel a lot better about my position. The top is actually what? 23.75. I'll feel a lot better about my position if we can get back above that random sell-off bar. Quite a bit of volume. Someone hit the tape with some size. Maybe not going my way. I'm going to give it a second to breathe. Don't need to rush it. This is exactly why I went in was half size position. I've been out of investing. I'm interested in coming back. Do you have any suggestions? Investing itself is, in my opinion, extraordinarily easy. Buy the S&P 500, buy the NASDAQ 100, just dollar cost average, buy it on major discounts or just buy it every month, whatever part of your paycheck, and just forget about it. Investing, people like to think investing is difficult because trading is extremely difficult, but trading and investing, in my opinion, couldn't be farther apart. Like I deeply believe they could not be farther apart. So in my humble opinion, investing is easy. And like I said, you have many tools at your disposal, dollar cost averaging, set up pending buys if a certain level's ever hit. Just buy the overall market, buy the NASDAQ. That's super easy. A little bit later, if you feel a bit more advanced and your account grows, you could start doing like portfolio secured puts and start to buy stuff that you would want to buy it there anyway. So there's other, we'll call it like more advanced strategies that you could employ. But to, like you said, you're just like getting started back again. Dollar cost average, the overall market, S&P 500, NASDAQ 100. You could do something as basic as 50-50. If you want a little bit of small cap, cool. Throw 5, 15, 20% in small cap as well, and you're good to go. But once again, that is, dude, I just keep watching this. Like, am I going to get going or not? What's my low? 53. My fill's at 89. Right now, my risk is around 50 points. Remember, I'm trading half size, and I might even actually cut it before that. The goal here is just to see what's like. I wish I was a bit more aggressive and threw it on at between 50 and 60. Instead, I waited a little bit to this pump at 1014. I wish I got in at the 1013 bar instead of the 1014. I just like the structure a little bit more because it's just more minimal risk. And then you can even ride it up to the top of this and set your break even and set them like a little bit halfway. But that's a small detailed thing. Technically, it's a higher low. If you want to be super I mean, obviously we have the low at 46. That one was 53, so 10 points. But okay, maybe NASDAQ not doing much. Remember, this is the canary in the coal mine that tells me like maybe it's worth it to try a bullish position right here. Shout out to Spot Gamma. If you're not on Spot Gamma, good fucking luck, because the only reason I could figure out maybe this play, if it works, is because of what the information I'm getting from Spot Gamma. If I did not have this and I was looking at price action across the board, and that was the only thing I was like considering, I probably actually would have been caught short between 52 and 53. And right now I'd be praying for a breakdown. Okay, can it get back above? Remember, I'm looking. Okay, RTH VWAP is coming up. Oh, decisions. We're coming up. I'm a little bit in the green, but first thing I want to do before I focus on moving my profits and whatnot, which here, I'm just gonna, this is not my actual profit. I just want to add my way so I don't have to decide that in real time. I need this break. So not only are we coming up to the top end of this box right here, this consolidation where it got rejected, it got rejected, it got rejected. Now it's the 1 minute 50 EMA, which means it could easily get rejected, which as soon as I see 20, I'm going break even, making it a free trade. Just saw 20. It's a free trade. Maybe it works. Maybe it doesn't. I have no fucking clue. All I can tell you is I'm playing with no risk. I put my stop to break even. Worst case scenario is I pay commissions. All right. But now we have to update. Where is 400? All right, I'm updating the MFF accounts because I just need to pass them, which means I just needed to hit 30, which I might be too slow.
Order filled.
Oh, I am too slow. Shit. I locked in one of them. Keep going. This is just for the MFF accounts. Well, one hit.
Order filled.
They all hit. Why is one not hitting? Why is one still trading? Oh.
Order filled.
It just hit. All right, so just pass all the MFFs. 53, 53, 53, 53, 53. Let me make sure. So passed it. That's awesome. By the way, what perfect timing. The biggest announcement is we are now officially partnered up with MFF. Rapid end of day is here. So what I just passed is a very exciting type of account. End of day drawdown. No more intraday drawdown. Daily payouts with the 90-10 split. That's literally what I just unlocked. So I've never had an account like that. To me, that seems very favorable, rapid. So that's the daily payout part. The 90-10 split, obviously incredibly competitive. And then the fact that it's EOD, that's just more favorable. So you don't have to worry about that differential. And on the other ones, I'm just taking a shot. Maybe with the TPT, I should have been a little bit more on top of it. But just to be clear, I'm going to move this up to 90. Like I said, I called this out top, maybe it could get rejected. Folks, if you're coming in here and you're looking at me and you're like, Matt, tell me if it gets, I don't know if it's going to get rejected, which is why I decided to protect all of my accounts with my stop at break even. I called it out as the 1 minute 50 EMA. If you're taking that short, honestly, don't mind it. It's clear resistance. Your risk reward's
Order
not bad.
filled.
And I got knocked out and it was a break even. So it was worth it because I passed all the MFFs. Unfortunately, on that particular attempt, it just didn't go. What max accounts can you have? I mean, you could have whatever accounts from whatever firm. But let's see if I can actually figure out my MFF, my funded futures. Let's see if I could upgrade them live with all of you guys. let's see if we could get in live. So basically for some of these, this went well, 400. I guess you could argue, Matt, why didn't you take the profit on all those? Well, that's why I went half size. Here, let's see if we could upgrade live. Upgrade. Congratulations, you passed. All right. I understand. Start trading. Oh, hang on. Is this going to, I have to accept the agreement, review and accept. Funded trader agreement. Funded trader agreement. Look at that rejection right at the top there. Full name. Oh, Matthew Kohrs. Done. Okay, agree. Hang on, it needs my address. Okay. Email address. How does it not have this admin? All right, done. Add signature. Okay. Finish. All right, one of them was updated. So we did that. This one, upgrade, second one. Do I have to do the same thing again? No, okay, it keeps it all. That's nice. We're going to upgrade the third one. Okay, continue. Great. Load. Load. All right, let's go to the fourth one. Upgrade. Okay. And then the fifth one. Upgrade. Okay. Wait, pass. Oh, wait, you can only... How many of these can you have? Was it 3 or 5? Does anyone know off the top of your head how many of these you can have? We'll find out. I'll just disconnect and reconnect. So just disconnected MFF. Reconnecting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I have all 5. 3 MFF. It's a limit on EOD. Oh, so the other 2 just stay pending? I don't know why I traded 5 then. So wait, is that right? That I have, as you can see, 1, 2, 3, funded. Will the other 2 just stay pending for me? Is that how it works? I assume so. Here, let's go back. Yeah, because I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 5 passed and 3 in progress. So that makes sense. Okay. Anyway, that's the current deal. So end of day drawdown, awesome. Daily payouts, awesome. 90-10 split, awesome. The one thing is if you're using these, it is 30% consistency. Tradeify is 40, TPT is 50 for the eval. That's just for the eval stage. So if you're doing the eval, you might want to be careful about how much money you're going for per day. Clear rejection right there. Clear rejection. It is another higher low, though. Oh, not the worst risk ever. Not the best risk ever either. It's a limit on EOD rapid, I think. Yeah, so 3. So it is 3. I don't know why I was trading 5 of them. I guess I have 2 pending now. So just so you guys know that, just want to call that out for anyone who's giving a whirl with MFF. But I did pass those. Obviously, that was that $400 trade that you guys all saw. I got wicked out at my break even. Yeah, I could have had 10 more points of heat, but I knew I was kind of fighting trend, which is why I needed to be a bit more conservative. So if I caught a lucky trend reversal, great. I was in it and I was going to get to ride it. So I managed some at the appropriate level, and then the other ones, honestly, I managed it. I don't mind that trade at all. I like how I did it. I like how I handled it. Could have been easily triple top rejection, and then we puke. Easily could have played out that way. That's looking all kind of bearish. So the S&P 500 is having one heck of a time getting back above this region. One heck of a time. Yeah, that's not so good. But now NQ is actually catching a little bit of a bid. Interestingly, sentiment seemingly in real time switching. Do I like this half size play? Do I like the half size? Well, I can't go full size because I don't want to get in fully on the break. I'd want to wait for the retest. But 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're at the 1 minute 50 EMA. It was previously rejected, but now it's battling it out. Now we're battling it out. How many of you are going long here? How many of you are going short here? Put L's and S's in chat for me really quick. I want to know if you're going long here, short here, or maybe you're just staying flat. I do not want to chase the breakout, as I always say, especially because it's RTH VWAP. We're at VWAP. I'm definitely not chasing it. I'm not long, 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 F flat, W. Just winning. You're like, I don't know what I'm doing, man, but whatever I'm doing, I'm winning. Iron Condor. Be careful with that, with the Becent thing later today. Made 1.4K on TBT, so done. Awesome. Congrats, man. I like that. I like that mindset actually a lot, where you're just like, cool, I made my money, gotta like move on with my life. If I had a better fill, remember back when I said I wish I got in at the 10-14 this bar instead of the following one, 10-14 versus 10-15 or 10-13-14, depending on your charting. But if I got in on the right bar, I would have never got knocked out for break even. My break even was 89. It came down to 79. So it I mean, I guess I could have used 67. But why go red? Why go red? Why not take a stab? It's easy to beat yourself up and be like, oh, if I just held on. But in another universe, the very next bar here was a bigger red bar and we cracked 46. And I'm happy I got out at break even. So super, super easy to Monday morning quarterback of like, well, this is how I could have played it perfectly. If you're always doing that, you're going to just be on this like hamster wheel that's going to destroy your trading psychology. Because of course, when you already have exactly how it played out, you can do the game of like, but if I played it perfectly, this is like how I would have done it. It's like, you just don't know. Like, you don't know what the next bar is going to be. Matt, do you have any thoughts on the new rum deal? Already went through all of it. I love it though. The TLDR is, I think it's a really, really smart move with the warrants, a $13.7 billion deal for a new customer for GPU compute. Huge fan, and obviously the market agrees with me on that one. Rum, I mean, the daily chart on rum is like kind of looking the best it's ever looked in a long time. And I think that's because what you're seeing is the market is finally pricing it in as an AI infrastructure play and not really a video platform, like not majorly a video platform anymore. It's a video platform that's also an AI infrastructure play. And you can see the moment the market realized that. It was the day after earnings. So we were trading at 6. They realized, wow, this company has completely pivoted and now they're selling shovels in a gold rush, and it's gone from $6 to $9.50. I bought BITX calls for September. I hope you did that before, though. If you're doing it now, it's a bit chasey. I hope you did it on the breakout on the 19th when we took out these highs as a swing play. All right. If you took this chase breakout, it worked this time. But remember, the past couple times already today, it didn't. So if you took it, congrats, I guess. 1, 2, 3, 4th times the charm here, or you could say breakout, breakout, 3rd times the charm, rejection, rejection, 3rd times the charm. So just be careful on this push. The region between 80 and 140 is pretty choppy. Remember 2 months ago when Matt was preaching it was an undervalued AI play? I hope some of you listened. I hope some of you guys listen, because I felt like I backed it up with a good amount of evidence, and I know not everyone's always going to listen to me. I'm not saying I get every play right, but I thought that one was like kind of evident. Man, my call out on this one was right too. I just unfortunately got wicked out, but hey, coulda, shoulda, woulda. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. And like I said, not chasing the breakout. I actually wouldn't mind a retest of this 20 to 40 region right in here. Actually, I wouldn't mind the retest of 30 exactly. Perfect rejection, rejection, rejection. Wouldn't mind it. Well, now this is getting interesting because now we've popped so much. If it falls here, it's not the worst short in the world. It's not the worst short in the world if it gets rejected. I mean, we're right back up to, I mean, you could see between 939 and 941, a lot of wicks over here, rejection here. It's just people are probably going to react at this level. You could see above my head on Bookmap that there's those sellers at 85. How's SPX looking? SPX maybe wants to gear up for this break of 57. The low on Friday is at 60. If it really gets going, you have the red to green test at 674. So you might want to mark that out. That was the closing value from Friday. This white line is the 100 EMA on the 1 minute. I care a lot on the 1 minute of the 50 and the 100 and where they are relative to each other. Which way are they trending? Which way are they not trending? How's options flow? Oh, it's still picking up. Flow alert pop, another flow alert pop. Mag 7 is even starting to show a little bit of life, and the NASDAQ is really showing life. If you're just holding on to a short, you basically need it to get rejected here. You need it to not go through this region. You need it to fall, and you need it to ideally break this support zone. But if you're holding a short, thinking that I'm on the right side of price trend, you're on the right side of the 5, the 10, and the 30, the 5, the 10, and the 30. But remember, trend reversals happen, and that's exactly like what we're seeing. We literally saw Friday, folks. This is Friday. We don't even have to go back in history. A sell-off, a consolidation, a sell-off, a little fake out, and then all of a sudden you get that grindy action up, and then you actually have a decent pop, and then for the rest of the day, it literally did nothing. But trend reversals do happen. They don't happen all the time, but just kind of pointing some of this out that, well, damn, it's like really going into this. It could obviously collapse. I'm not saying that's out of the cards, but I would not be holding on to my short for no reason at this point. I like a 95 entry to average. What 95? 995 or 095? Because we're at this new 95, but not long ago we were at a different 95. And for all I know, if this keeps going, we might be at the whole next 95. If you're in a short, F your shorts. Well, I'm not ever really rooting for people to lose money, but I suppose from a risk reward perspective, it's getting a little bit unmanageable. 095 to enter? That's chasey. Like, wait, are you saying to go long at 095? No, you wouldn't do that. That's you're chasing the pump. If you want to go long at 095, you want the breakout and the retest, and you get long at the retest at 095. You don't go there on the first one. Short, I don't mind that because you have this resistance, you have the 100, you could use 40. Yeah, I don't mind that so much. And on this breakdown of like 60, you go stop to break even. I don't mind that play at all. It's just, once again, we're looking at the geometry of the chart. It's just what's your risk reward. So you're saying 9.5, your risk isn't that bad. And it could come all the way down to 30. And that would be like, honestly, kind of my first target is just like this previous rejection, seeing if it's support. I'm not doing it because it's kind of anti-trend right now. And I don't want to fight this pop in the NASDAQ. I don't want to fight the turn in the Mag 7. I don't want to fight this pop in SPX. So I'm more so looking for NQ to pull back. I want to see that higher low. And I'm attempting to go in on the higher low. But I also see a reasonable short here. I do. If I didn't know what was going on in the options market and I saw this right here, I get it. I do. But unfortunately, I do know what's going on in the options market. So here we are. Here we are, kids. Hang on, my producer is sending something in. What is this? So as much as we were making fun of, what is this one? Nancy Pelosi's back. What is Pelosi up to? Let's break down Nancy Pelosi's most recent stock purchases. Bloom Energy. Okay, interesting. Oh, call. So stock and calls and more stock and more calls. Intel. So she is riding the AI craze like no other. Jerome Powell, please come back, twin.
Jerome Powell, please come back, my nigga. I miss you. I don't even know who this new nigga's name is, bro. Get him out of here, bro. I'm sick of this nigga, bro. Fuck. I took you for granted, Powell. I swear, bro. I took you for granted, bro. I talked shit about you. I said you were a bum. But, bro, I need you more than ever, gang. NQ needs you, my nigga.
NQ needs you.
Powell, bro, please, just one more time. Can I just ask for one more run? Please, Powell, we need you, son. We need you, Powell.
Tough times in Nasdaqistan. You know, you never know how good you had it until it's gone. Bitcoin sentiment is turning fast. Edom says the crypto rebound has legs, arguing heavy selling has largely paid out while investor rotates back to digital assets. Yeah, I mean, between the Clarity Act and the 4-year cycle and the predicted bottom to be early October and a lot of other stuff just going choppy sideways. How high will Bitcoin get this year? Apparently, Kohrs is calling out for 90,000. 90,000. All right, right back up. We went from this big region of support. You had the expansion through kind of the lower tested area, and now you're seeing a bit of life here. Not much of a pullback opportunity, though. SPY's getting that breakout. Actually, is looking pretty decent. Here, let's go to the 3-minute on this. Bitcoin's climbing nicely as well. Bitcoin is climbing nicely. All right, we just went from one region to the next region, and the SPY had a region, fake out, breakdown, fake out, breakout, fake out, breakdown, and now popping. So if this holds, by definition, a fake out breakdown is bullish, which could lead to that test of 76572, the classic red to green test. But first, it's trying to get above the low from Friday. Right now, the Q's just obviously expansion down, new zone, found support, expansion into the previous zone. So just wait. Just wait. 90K by this weekend. I don't think that will. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that because it's kind of dependent on what happens between Warsh's comments on Friday, what happens with Vicent's comments today, and what happens on any political movement with the Clarity Act. So if that good stuff happens, yeah, of course we could see it. Of course we could see it. All right. We're just back into another zone. I wish I could have held this a bit better. I can't kick myself too much. I got in on the 1014 bar myself, got wicked out on this drop at 1026, but that was literally the extent of it. So if I was like literally 1 minute earlier, I would have been able to ride this up to 80 and I would have taken my profits at 80. But nope. I was going for this breakout. Just didn't happen. Happened on the next test. Rejection, 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 and then did it. Jackson Hole Wednesday. It is not Wednesday. It starts Thursday, but Kevin Warsh is speaking Friday morning. I don't know where you're getting Jackson Hole Wednesday from, but it is not. It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, with the main thing being Warsh giving his like 10-ish minute chat Friday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern. I think you're getting Wednesday from just the like FOMC is commonly Wednesday, but it is not. Rejection popped up. I really wouldn't mind this long down here. I'm kind of watching. We're in between two VWAPs. We're in between RTH VWAP and session VWAP, running into an issue here at not only 100, but also the 50% of today's range, the 50% mark. So we've retraced half. We've retraced roughly half. The question is do I have, if it drops to RTH VWAP, which is the orange dash line at 42, do I have the balls to go long? That's the real question here. That's the real question. What's for those of you currently in a position, what are you in? Are you long? Are you short? I want to see where you guys are at. I want to see how you're reading this. Are you fading the 100 back to RTH? Are you already long and you're looking for 146? Where half long size? I'll do half long on a dip. I'm still not going to chase it. I just want to know where you guys are at. Just opened a short. I just don't necessarily like this area. I see the short, but it would be short. Ideally, it'd be short lived. And then I would not only take profits at like 45 or 50, I'd go long there. Small short from the overnight low. That was 116. I don't mind that. You could already move your stop to break even. Long from 980. Okay, I like that play. Long from 650, wanting red green. I kind of like that too. 700 reach. The interesting node, and this might be impacted by Basent later, is 7. It's not just 700, but you actually have a negative gamma node also up to 710. So people are looking at 7700. They're also looking at 7710. So if it does get that breakout on follow through, and really just like right here, it needs to get above 60. If you're wondering why we're getting stuck here, it's because of this gigantic positive gamma right at 60, right at the low. So we got rejected. That's the big test. If it gets going. But I really wouldn't mind this down to 30 or 40, like somewhere in here. I wouldn't mind that long. Put in a nice higher low and then gives us time to go. Looking for VWAP at 146. I mean, if you had a position sub 29,000, I don't mind it. Chasing it here, I'm not the biggest fan just because it's not that much above our head and your risk is larger. Like, actually, it could be considerably larger. So I don't mind the play, but I would want clarification on where you did your entry. Because chasing it long here, I mean, we could very easily have a 60-point pullback and still be bullish. So then the question is, do you have the appropriate size to maybe withstand a 60-point hit to still represent your bullish opinion? Bitcoin creeping up to 80. It's climbing nicely. It's almost at 80. Definitely climbing. Rum's having a good day. It's the biggest gainer on my watch list. Apple's having a good day. Netflix at least green. They're trying to push it under, but it didn't happen. S&P 500 is picking up. Mag 7 picked up a little going flat. Man, I just wanted this dip. It really didn't dip much. It didn't dip much. S&P 500 flow is still strong. How am I feeling? How am I actually feeling about this one? Is there a trade now or not really? To be honest, probably not really, because it's just another thing of consolidation. It might get going, but it also could just get smacked here and crack 70 and go to 40. I could throw in half size. If I throw in half size at 100 and then another one at 40, my average fill would be 70 at full size. Not in love with that. I'd rather my full size be at 40. Yeah, I think just when I got wicked out at like what, 1027, I think that was the play that I should have been holding till now. So like I don't think I could chase this whatever 100+ points later. Matt, do you think TLT rips after Basent today? No fucking clue. How would anyone on the world know unless you have access to his speech? I don't know. I think you just have to wait, see what he says, see what he doesn't say, see how he behaves, see what the questions are. I mean, you can't predict that. I mean, if you just want me to be bullish for the vibes, hell yeah, I hope he rips it. But You can hope in one hand and shit in the other. See which one fills up first. All right. A little bit of a struggle bus here at 100, but it's grinding. It's been grinding every minute for the past 6 minutes. That grindy action that we saw. Nasdaq's options flow might be a little bit too strong, though. I mean, look at the SPY. It's really picking up. There's a bit of a hit. All right. Not holding 100. Like, it's just the way we had this big choppy zone. We're just in a whole nother choppy zone now. You know what? I wonder if this is... better to draw. Let's do some more arts and crafts with these drawings. Let's get a little bit more specific here. Dude, time flies when you're having fun. Time is flying today. All right. I like these zones a little bit better, as in I chopped out a little bit of a region there, but I'm curious to see how the separate zones will build out throughout the remainder of the day. Maybe we're not trading down into VWAP. Maybe we're going to trade so much that VWAP just comes up to it. I mean, 140. Man, we're really not doing anything now. I wouldn't be trading TLT, but you do you. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of trading bonds. I find them to be extraordinarily boring, but that's just one man's opinion. Dude, I like... I do considerably like between 30 and 40 better for an entry than here. It's just like we went through this. There wasn't 45, 30. Like, or some sell. We're just pinned now. All the economic issues and news, but makes me think it's just a capture of the bulls before we start a bear market. You're making the classic mistake of thinking the stock market and the economy are the same thing. And don't do that. And that's really, really easy because a lot of the times we talk about them together and they do have an impact on each other, like in both directions. But to assume, like right there, you're right to call out, okay, we have economic issues. Stock market's at an all-time high. If you need a more egregious example of that, the economy was ruined in COVID and we kept making new all-time highs. The stock market and the economy do have a relationship, but you have to be like keep the top of your mind of what that relationship like really is, because there are times when you could have a strong economy and a horrible stock market. There's times you could have a really strong stock market and a horrible economy. So just because you see one strong and the other weak and you think that they have to snap back in alignment, they don't have to. They like, if you're trading on this thinking that the economy is weak so the market has to fall, it's not true. And you don't even to see like a very, very evidence out of that. Just scroll back to the market in 2020, 2021. I've lost too much money in my trading career thinking that those things need to be more correlated than they actually are. Too much money in my trading career.
Order filled.
All right, I'm taking a stab at this on that new higher low. Where is VWAP is 44. Oh, if this trades hits, that's decent for the day. We don't have to get too crazy with it. Just follow Nancy. That's actually a really tough thing to do. I know a lot of people just say, "Oh, I'm going to copy Nancy." The issue is the 45-day lag in between when she trades and when it becomes publicly available if she follows in time. So this idea of just like copying Nancy, I mean, a lot can happen in 45 days. A lot could happen in 45 days. As great as that sounds on like a superficial level, I was just like, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to copy Nancy Pelosi. It's a much harder thing to do in practice. A much harder thing to do in practice. What is this low? Do I actually want to do that? And then where would the double down be? The double down would be at 46. The double down would be, we'll just call it 50 because it's going to move a little bit. Oh, it's just consolidating. This is boring. If options flow has anything to say about it, we are looking for a breakout. S&P 500 is climbing like no other. Mag 7's even picking up after getting hit. NASDAQ is climbing like no other. So going off of the options flow, going off of the 1 minute breakout, retest, holding, 1 minute breakout, like going off the shortest time frame and going off options flow, the bulls are in control. The 5 minute is testing, 10 minute got rejected, 30 minute is clearly bearish. So it is anti-trend, really on the 30, kind of on the 10, and then on the NASDAQ, it's actually anti-trend on the 5, the 10, and the 30, which is why I'm not absolutely in love with it, which is why I traded half size. Streetbeat has a Nancy tracker, and what does that have to do with my statement? It does, but once again, you can only track her to her the timeliness of her filing. Like, I don't know. Your statement is right, but I don't know what that has to do with relation to my statement. Matt, are you still waiting on your $1 million payout? I am. Sam, I am. All right, let's go to the 3 minute on this. I do like this higher low. So we made the low, higher low. Okay. Hopefully this overall trend can help. Right now we're seeing pretty evident consolidation. Lower highs, higher lows on the 3 minute. I wouldn't mind buying at 40, 30, 40, something like that. Yeah, buying with someone else's buys 45 days later is not a good thing. I mean, it might work out, but I don't think that's necessarily a strategy that's like gonna want to be crushing all the time. Just wanted to say that the TPT CEO interview was great. Thanks for that. Oh yeah, I had a really fun time. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. And I thought it was kind of cool to kind of get the insights into a person running these companies and like kind of maybe what they deal with that we didn't like fully expect. And one of the major things that I got from it is I think there's like a couple bad characters who are maybe trying to scam the system that then they're like forced to try to combat, and it like kind of ruins the game for everyone else who's like actually trying to trade. What about FFN? I just got a payout from FFN. How long should it be till you get paid out? I have no idea. I can tell you my last payouts were like less than 5 days, 10 days, something like that, like 1 week, 2 weeks. Was like on these accounts too, is how quickly I was paid out all the other times. Or maybe not paid out, but at least approved. And then the process for it getting transferred started in my account. I understand that this time would take longer with Apex because it's considerably more money. But just to, I mean, directly answer your question, the previous times I got paid out, it was anywhere from like 1 to 2. Do you think TBT will do end of day pro? I think that's a very real possibility if the competition increases. Like if everyone ends up going to end of day, I think they'll just kind of force to be doing it. But I don't know if they're like actually considering it or not. And end of day, intraday, it doesn't matter once you get the buffer like that. It's one of those things that it matters when you're first growing your accounts, but once you have enough buffer, it's kind of no longer an issue. Well, this is getting a bit smacked. Well, we're going to wait because we didn't really snap this yet. Where's our flow? We have buyers above my head at 66. NASDAQ is still looking good. Mag 7, S&P 500. This is why I go in half size, and now I need to decide where I would like the other half size to be. SPX 1 minute potentially breaking down. Looks like we might be sweeping the last two lows. You can see the cloud. We're now below the cloud. There is big support at 50. It's also this upward sloping trend line. Kind of an interesting zone to see if buyers do stepping there. The NASDAQ, not that different. It's at the bottom of its cloud right now. Let me zoom into this. We're at the 11 a.m. hour. Is this a little fake out? Like we did sweep these lows. We're at that 1 minute. If it cracks, I don't think it's that surprising to go back down to 30, 40. That's where you have technical zones at. It's also where you have right here at 47, you have RTH VWAP. Below these levels, I think the bull case starts to deteriorate. But as long as it holds it and we see a V shape, I think you have a real shot of riding this back up to other VWAP. But man, I mean, I guess this morning was a little bit more exciting than recently, but right now, not quite. Right now, not quite. Okay, I do want to let you guys know, Basent is speaking at 2 p.m. Treasury Department Economic D-Day for Iran. Before I let you guys go, I asked this question already, but just now that there's more people in the audience, do you want me to stream that? 2 p.m. Eastern today. No, I said Jerome Powell. I meant Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, is doing a live press conference to address two main things. First, and probably not as impactful in this conversation, their idea of handling longer-term bonds, such as the 30-year, the 20-year, and then also unveiling the economic attack on Iran. Yes. Okay, cool. So we'll plan on that for 2 p.m. We'll start the stream at like 1:45 or something. And who knows, I still might be in this exact same position. So I will see you guys in just a couple hours, in just under 3 hours, just so everyone knows. Okay, cool beans. I appreciate all your good vibes this morning. By the way, before I let you go, just shout out to MFF. We are the newest partners with them. You can get a nice discount with that code Goonie. Rapid end of day drawdown. Great daily payouts. Great 90-10 split. Great, fairly priced. Great. Use that code Goonie. So shout out to them, newest partnership. And then obviously shout out to you guys for all the good vibes today. I'll catch you in a couple hours. Be careful in the lunch session. It's already proven to be pretty choppy. So if you don't already have a position, maybe just set alerts at levels you care about and then come back. But don't drive yourself nuts by watching every minute bar in a rather like boring setup. So just, I guess, be careful, stick to your trading plan, stick to your size, and don't let something silly get in between you and the way of your actual payout. So that's what I have for you right now. I'll catch you in a couple hours. Thanks for all the good vibes. Peace.